How's Australia, dude?
It's good. Check it out. It's beautiful.
Wow. Looks just like America.
There's Churchy.
Oh my gosh. That's
Got my
amazing.
3 dogs. They're ancient. I have 3 dogs over the age of 15.
What's the secret?
You've got to move to Australia.
Yeah. Of course, we're about what I mean. I'm sure you're having just as much trouble as I am, and everybody is keeping track of the days. We're 9 days out from the album.
9 days. Can't
9
wait.
days,
8
man.
days. 8 days here in Australia, since we're a day ahead of everyone.
Oh, that's right. Does it feel like the week before a holiday, the week before a childbirth, the week before a kid moving out? Like, what does it feel like?
It's always pretty nerve-wracking the week before the record comes out, and I guess it depends. It all depends on how personal I feel like I've gotten with the record. The week before the Canyon came out was just absolutely torture. Kept it pretty light. I think that people, once they hear the record, they'll see even the darker moments on Heartwork are painted in this really bright, almost neon light that feels appropriate for this time. Addressing the darkness with a flashlight.
Is that how much of that is you guys and how much of that is Feldman?
I think it's a perfect combination. Feldman is the ultimate facilitator when it comes to capturing a band's mood, and we have just never been in a better place mentally and emotionally. We're all just on this other level as far as connected bands go. We're still in it for the music. We're still best friends, and yeah, that connection with John Feldman is powerful and palpable and potent.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine, because I mean, I don't think I have to tell the hardcore fans here, but Feldman signed you guys back in the day to Reprise, and is it almost like akin to maybe like how we would think of a friend from school, in terms of the connection to this person?
It's crazy. It's the amount of time you spend with someone and create these kind of intimate moments that build this connection. That's so. Yeah. He's always been considered an additional member of the band, a brother. That's for sure. One of the hardest working human beings that I've ever met on this planet, and it's just being around somebody who is that driven is the perfect kind of ammunition for an artist. We're kind of at this perfect competition with ourselves to kind of outperform and make something that's worthy for John Feldman's studio. It's a fantastic feeling. That kind of back and forth is exactly what I need when making a record. So that's cool. Yeah.
You said something interesting, Bert, before about the feelings leading into a release day depend on how deep and how raw you got on the record. Are there records you look back or songs, if you want to call it specific songs, where in hindsight you wish you got deeper, you wish you took it further or more raw?
No, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think all the Used fans know that whenever there's a moment to get personal, I'm more than willing to go there. Art is about that connection and that human want and need to connect to something, to anything, to feel like you fit in, to belong, to feel something.
Right. Well said. So I'm sure they explained it to you, but just so you understand what's happening, this is a show called Fandemic for Radio.com, and basically all the questions, I'm out of my questions. It's about the fans, and they've sent them in from all over the world. So. And you're nice enough and brave enough to field them, so let's get to some of these. Darcy.post says, when are you going to start a book club?
Book club? I started it a long time ago. It's just very exclusive. None of y'all are invited. I don't know where a good place to have an outlet for a book club, because I think that the hardcore Used fans know that I'm not normally one for Instagram. This wouldn't be the place for me. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'll see what I can do for the Used fans. Might be appropriate if we had a book club vlog. That might be nice.
That'd be cool. Are you reading anything right now?
Rereading a bunch of David Foster Wallace. Brief Interview with Hideous Men is what I'm reading right now, but I'm kind of halfway between like 3 books. When I get into furious reading mode, I kind of just am all over the place. So I'm reading Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan, and yeah, Brief Interview with Hideous Men. If you've never heard of A Brief Interview with Hideous Men or David Foster Wallace, it's something definitely worth checking out. He's taken short stories to another level of existence. Another Nother.
Awesome. This comes from Amber Raw. I don't know how to say their name, but what made you decide to use tarot imagery in the new album?
I think it's something that we've always been interested in. We love symbology and the combination. I'm a bit obsessed with the idea of force feeding messages through images and semiotic process. So yeah, we not only do we think that they're awesome and they're cool looking always, no matter what rendition you're looking at, but we thought it just really fit with the themes. This record seems like really back to basic human emotional content. There's a song about everything that you could go through, which is I think what the Used has always been. I think that's what the Used has always been good at, is adding the real life into the record, and we cover all bases: love, loss, and everything in between. So, yeah, that's the tarot kind of summed up. We're really interested in the kind of world of tradition, and if you listen to the record, there's a lot of songs that kind of try to focus on that and what we think is necessary. I've been touching my face this whole interview.
Bad, Bert, bad. Let's get to Keeler 77. Oh, you kind of covered this actually with what books do you recommend right now in terms of killing time during quarantine, but I think we kind of man, a lot of people like love your taste in books. A lot of book questions, man.
I would always recommend Shakespeare. Shakespeare play seems like you could burn through one in a day if you really worked hard. If not, it would take you 3 or 4 days. But the amount of information online to kind of get deep into something nowadays is amazing. It's beautiful. If you're reading nonfiction, if you like to read nonfiction, then you can really dig deep into the Wikipedia and all over. All the information's out there. A lot of people talk to me about Paradise Lost and how it was inspired and kind of got into John Milton. There's these Yale courses on YouTube. I always forget the guy's name who does the John Milton. John Waters, I think, is his name. But there's 24 hours worth of lectures on John Milton's life, and Paradise Lost is a poem. I think there's like 5 different hour-long lectures that just go through the poem. So, yeah, if you're willing to put in the time, all the information is out there, and you can get it straight from the experts' mouths. So it's an exciting time, unless you get swallowed up by the internet.
Let's get to Stacko 13. My son Derek says hello, Bert, and they want to. Their son wants to know what is your favorite thing to do with your daughters, and if you have any pets at home. I think we even saw a pet. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. So, what are your favorite things to do with the fam, and any pets?
My favorite thing to do is cook, and I think in our house we think that family dinners are quite important. It's a perfect time to bond and connect and make beautiful memories in the kitchen. So yeah, my favorite thing to do with my family is to cook. And some of our favorite things to cook are tacos. We love a good taco night.
Do you have Taco Tuesday in Australia?
Taco most day. That's one thing about Australia is unfortunately, the Mexican food is not as amazing as it would be in California. But yeah, we do our best. So yeah, cooking is one, and then my daughters love to do anything that regular, normal little girls love to do, like watch Frozen 1 billion times.
Right on.
But Dad tries to keep the books open and reading for the daughters as well. if you can find a love for books when you're young, you'd be really, really excited, stoked.
Yeah.
Books are good for your brain.
And any pets they want to know?
I have 3 dogs. Gordon B. Hinckley has just turned 16. Yeah, 2004. Poppy is his wife. She is just a year younger, and then they had 1 baby together. We named her Church.
Nice. Right on. This next question comes from somebody called Gutter Ghost. What's the weirdest thing you've ever received as a gift on tour?
It wasn't ours to keep, but we had a person throw their prosthetic leg on stage, and we took it to our bus and had a beer keg tap on it and a little drawer for joints and stuff.
That's amazing. What city was it?
Oh, I forget. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, this is amazing. Rachel wants to know, is there a song that you wish fans were more into, or just feels like underrated to you, or that you wish you played live more? Anything ring a bell there?
I don't care what people are into too much. I don't spend too much time concerned, but I do love The Ocean of the Sky, and that EP that we put out is just such a mess. So noisy, and there's so many mistakes in it. Oh, great. Can you hear that? Sorry. I'm stuck out here. I'm stuck outside. The girls have quarantined the house to themselves, so Dad's on the back porch.
Amazing.
Yeah, any song from The Ocean of the Sky, particularly The Ocean of the Sky itself, that's one of my favorite used songs. But I think that everybody... Oh, I see Joey Bradford. What's up, Brutal Ford? Yeah, any song from that record it feels like a... Wait, no, I said that already. Any song from our new record, that's what I was getting at. Feels like the automatic go-to favorite. Maybe just because it's new, but I've been listening to it twice a day for about 3 or 4 months, and I'm still not sick of it. So
wow.
I slept through my my manager has been calling me for the last hour and a half because I slept through all my morning interviews. I almost slept through this thing. So forgive my sleep face, but I made it.
We appreciate you waking up, dude. Getting back to that question from Rachel, I think it's an interesting one because it kind of talks about, that connection that's not often understood from fans where, the world rather can just go crazy for a song of yours, and you're obviously probably grateful for what that, enables you to then do. But it might not be a meaningful song necessarily to you.
Yeah, there's not a lot of songs in our catalog that I've half-assed. I think that every song is so jam-packed full of meaning to me. Yeah. Whether it's one of the more poppy ones or whether it's one of the more heavy ones, we love it all. We're inspired. I think a song will only make the record if it's jam-packed full of my heart. So yeah.
Right. This comes from Pants72. Great username. What is your biggest inspiration for writing and creating music? And is the new album different or similar to the older ones?
My number one inspiration would be what I'm reading at the time. Kind of seems to influence even a little bit more than my own personal life because of now being a dad and an adult. I have way less trauma and drama in my life than I would have 20 years ago. So it's not all about me. But yeah, I'm usually deeply inspired by what I'm reading at the moment, which is always a fun game.
Right on.
Dictate what the song can sound like, I think, a little bit.
And they were curious about is the new album we're going to get next Friday.
It's
different or similar to the older ones?
It's very similar to, I think, the energy and the feelings from the first couple records. The focus was kind of on finding that place where we fell in love with music. And for most people, that's, when you're a teenager. And to kind of focus in on those influences and make a record that sounds like what we grew up loving. It's got everything from 90s grunge to hardcore breakdowns to really aggressive, more poppy and catchy songs than I think the Used has put out on any release. We have the lightest and the darkest. So this is the most diverse and kind of extreme that the Used have experimented with. It's really exciting.
It's awesome. An important question next. It comes from Amy Graham Slam. She says, Bert, what advice would you give your fans living alone, falling into depression, who have recently lost their live music antidote to stay strong, sober, safe, and healthy during these trying times? Any words of advice?
I think for me, it helps to know that this is temporary, and just like everything else is temporary in life. Life could be just a series of moments of, pretending that you're as alive as possible. And yeah, so I think that to try to focus on things that you love. For me, I know I love David Foster Wallace, so it's easy for me to go back and reread David Foster Wallace. I know I love to cook, so I'm not going to be bummed out when I go in there. I think it's easy to start with stuff that you love. But yeah, remembering that this is temporary, no matter how rough that may be, and when this feels kind of endless now, nothing can stop live music forever. And just like other bad situations, science will be able to solve this problem with us. It's just taking a lot longer than anyone ever imagined.
Let's get to a couple more of these, Bert. This says, they want to know, what is it like touring when you have a family at home?
It's really tough for the first little bit. Leaving the family is the toughest part. So it's this residual, empty, hollow, hole in the chest type of feeling for the first couple of days. But once you get out on the road and get into the process of it, get into the days of it, then yeah, it gets a lot easier. And then it becomes like going home becomes the tricky part. It's just the readjustment always. That's what's tough. But man, yeah. I would give anything to play a live show right now.
Is it killing you, man?
It's killing everyone.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Let's get to TLC 629. Which song lyrics have the most meaning to you? And which song was the hardest to write on the new record?
Oh, on the new record. There was a few songs that I felt like have been in the making for 10 years. I hate this song. I wanted to write a song. I wanted to write that song for 10 years. So a lot of this, the inspiration before we started to write, it's an incredible thing to what I get to do for a living. Waking up late, going up to my friend's house, drinking coffee until we figure out what we want to write about. It's just an insane and incredible. I'm more than lucky. But yeah, there was a few songs like that I've wanted, that I feel like have been in the works for years. To Feel Something feels like the anthem of human beings right now. I think that there's been this crazy shift in culture because of technology, and I think that has a tendency to kind of take away some of what's real about human connection. And I, for one, have been desperate to feel anything in the last little while. It feels like almost like we were quarantined before this. So yeah, that one to kind of capture that real raw urgency was a little tougher than maybe some of the more light and upbeat songs.
All right.
A song like Clean Cut Heels is always tough because the double entendre and the kind of duality of the lyrics are really tough on the people closest to me. When I guess I don't want to give any hard spoilers, but when my wife thinks the song is about her and gets kind of upset about it, and then I have to go in and explain that it's not at all about you. It's about me leaving the Mormon church when I was young. It's just, songs are so tricky that way,
Yeah. You've touched on this a little bit, but Sarah Reedy wants to know, how has the current global situation affected the process of releasing an album?
Well, it makes sense to delay. It makes sense to delay your movie because you want to people to pack into a theater, right? And you're gonna lose all the money that way. But a band like us, we don't make any money on a record. Like, that all goes to the Spotify lords and the Apple billionaires and everything else. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense really to delay the release when everybody's sitting at home in desperate, dire need of some amazing art, creative art. We'll be able to save people's lives right now. So yeah, it's changed things for, like Lady Gaga and stuff, but I don't know how or why people think people need art right now desperately. So yeah, we never even thought twice about putting it out late. There was a few things that stopped us from putting it out early, but yeah, this global pandemic has changed everything. It's literally changed everything, and will not go back to the way it was. That's for sure. But
you think live shows will change, like the nature of like what we know as a live show experience? You think that'll be a little different?
Can you imagine a social distancing show?
Yeah, right.
This is a distancing mosh pit.
Yeah.
No, I think we'll get back to the point where we regain some normalcy within the live show. I mean, live shows are about getting up and close and personal and getting sweaty with your friends and smelling the breath of live rock. So yeah, I think it'll go back almost to the way it was. I think that when we see a return to live shows, we're going to see a resurgence of live show energy. You're going to see this because when you take something away from people, that's when they want it the most. And in the last 10 years, I've never seen more phones at rock shows, and than you can possibly imagine. People just holding their phones up.
Totally.
I'm just wondering if people's relationships with technology will change during this whole time. And I know that I would want to take live shows a little bit more seriously. That's just me, though.
Speaking of live shows, I didn't realize this. Are you gonna perform on the live?
No, I saw that radio.com announced that I was to perform, but that was never even
I did.
about, so
we're just chatting, right, Bert?
Yeah, we're just chatting, dog.
Right on.
I don't have anything to perform on. I'm kind of stopping the band from doing any cool, like you see Goldfinger and everyone doing all these things, and I don't have any equipment here. Australian internet is pretty ledge, mate. It's pretty slow, but yeah. So I'm kind of the gum in the works, but
yeah,
there's something special about live that I think should be protected, and me doing something from my internet. It's just, I don't know. Yeah,
awesome.
And I'm not against it. I just I don't have anything for y'all now.
I hear you, man. Then let's end on this final fan question. I don't know the name of who this came from, but it's a great one. There are some really neat guest features on the album. What was it like working with them?
We have been good friends with Jason for years. I remember seeing Let Live, almost 20 years ago. So working with Jason has always been above and beyond. He's one of the most inspirational frontmen that I know of. He's mesmerizing to watch, and he's also just one of the most down-to-earth and humble people you could meet. So that was incredible. Having a mind like that to bounce off of was fantastic. Mark and Travis, as far as big bands go, we've been around a lot of big bands and been treated a lot of different ways. The Blink camp has always treated us like gold, complete gold, and yeah, what a crazy thing. I feel like a little kid most of the time thinking about it. It was really fortunate to be able to work with such legendary people. Caleb from Beartooth, I've never actually even met. There's a long story with the lottery. We had Brian from Knocked Loose kind of in line to do a feature, and their schedule just kind of got crazy, and we knew that Beartooth was super in that same vein, really heavy but yet melodic, so maybe worked out even a little bit better. But he Caleb recorded the song like right before he went on stage in New York. So talk about driven. That's really rare for lead singer.
Did he do it at a venue? At a venue?
Yeah, he just did it in his dressing room right before he went on stage. He's like, I'll try to bust it out tonight. We needed it in a rush, and when I approached him, I kind of let him know about the concept from Shirley Jackson's short story. If you haven't read The Lottery, it's from about 100 years ago, but it's just fantastic short story about human traditions and how we kind of let things kind of go over our head or right past our face. But yeah, he was super hip to the concept, and I told him I had a bunch of lyrics if he didn't have time to write, but we would have loved to have him write to be more connected to the song. We were looking for co-writes on this record, so yeah, he jumped on the opportunity and he nailed it. He sent me the lyrics and he's like, what do you think about these? I'm like, perfect. It was perfect. First try, he just killed it. It was really awesome.
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
every opportunity we had to work with people was like this kind of childlike experience. Working with other artists and seeing how other people create it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait, dude. We really appreciate your time. And next Friday, 8 days for you, 9 for us here in the States. Hard work, April 24th. Bert, appreciate it, brother.
You're welcome. I read one question on there that kind of is talking about what to do if you know someone who's struggling with drugs or alcohol. This is the perfect time to rearrange everything. And it's sometimes when you're dragging the bottom, it's going to take complete devastation and a rearrangement of everything you think you know to kind of get on the other side of it. But I made it through it. And so if there's hope for me, I think that there's hope for almost anyone out there. I was a death drinker. I was all or nothing. So yeah, thanks for letting me say that last thing. Appreciate it.
Of course, Bert. I thank you for saying it, dude. That was awesome and important. I'll talk to you, dude.
All the Used fans, can't wait for you to hear this. Much love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Don't touch
Peace,
your face.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.